always remember, if you buy Bitcoin, your wildest dreams could come true, or you could lose everything. Wow, is Bitcoin headed up to our target here at the top of this trend line, up 10% today? Will this continue, or is it some sort of mega fake out and Bitcoin is actually headed much lower? We're going to show you the charts and show you what we think is most likely and what trajectory makes the most sense. Bitcoin finding support after support on these 4-hour candles, clearly continuously bouncing. There seems to be a lot of pressure pushing Bitcoin up. Bitcoin continuously in positions where it should be getting pushed down, but you just see flat line sideways consolidation, which could be indicating the sell pressure is getting smaller and smaller, and Bitcoin doesn't necessarily want to go below certain levels. Does it or don't it? We'll take a gander at that. Bitcoin is still far away from entering a short-term bullish run. However, we're going to take a look on these charts and show you what makes the most sense. And could this weekly candle for Bitcoin be a very large green candle? Gather around Chungalungas, let's get into this analysis. Wow, what is going on, my crypto alphas and alpha females? Welcome back to this very exciting episode. Bitcoin, yesterday, we talked about this. As soon as it hit this line, guys, you see it fell from this line to this one, and it immediately found support. Now, it is clearly also bouncing right there, so we're gonna have to be talking about that. Why is Bitcoin doing this? Is this a good or a bad sign? As you can see, this is a descending channel, okay? And Bitcoin is obeying it. It is hitting every target, so that's a good sign. It's showing that those patterns are valid. But is this a good or a bad thing? As it continues to go down, is it setting up for momentum to the upside? Or in fact, is it setting up for a mega big dumpage? As you guys might know, we all tend to overreact a little bit in the space. This tweet kind of references that. You know, Bitcoin dropped $100 yesterday. Most people don't care. You know, if it drops a little bit, everyone panics. Oh, it's going to 1,000. If it goes up a little bit, oh, it's going to 10,000. It's going to 20,000. It's going to all-time highs. So guys, we have to keep ourselves grounded, and I do that by drinking juice daily. So we really have to get into TA for today. So much exciting stuff, guys. So guys, we got so close to 1,000 in the last video, so let's actually give it away this video. If you guys want this, just leave a comment below this ledger, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on the dings, and let's get into this TA. My lady. So guys, we can start off on this daily chart. This has actually been pitch perfect. If you guys know, we've been having these lines on this descending channel for months. I'm not going to spend too much time repeating that same information, but we bounced right at this line, the heart line channel, the middle. Okay, we have 5 lines. The outer 2 are the outside of this descending channel. Then we have essentially the middle line, the heart line channel, and then these 2 other ones that are very important as we see moving backwards in time. That's kind of why we have these on there, because they've acted as support and resistance. And as time goes on, they still play a part, okay? Acting as support, acting as resistance, acting as resistance, acting as support, falling through, acting as support. So currently that's where we are. And if we switch to the 4-hour chart, you can see this is very clear here. We still have what some people were calling, a lot of people are abandoning this now because it's not making any sense. Okay, this did not seem like a bear flag, and this does not seem still like a bear flag, but that's currently what we have on here. Remember guys, if this bear flag would break out, the target would be like the low 3,000s, maybe even high 2,000s. So that is, again, we've been saying we don't think that's very likely, but here we go. As we're breaking out of this, the first thing we notice is that for like 2 days we traded barely below breaking out of this trend line. Okay, only $300. We traded at like 62, 63 for like 2 straight days. Then yesterday we broke down a little bit and we came down to this 0.382 on the fib, which is a strong area. And as well, you see some volume there, but clearly only traded there for a little bit, and we're currently getting a little bit of a bounce. Now, is this bounce anything to get excited about? Or in fact, is this just a major fake out? So we're gonna be talking about levels that are very important to break. And guys, we can start off with this. The most obvious is the 7,000. This is the very key thing to get above this pattern. This we've been in since the major calamity chaos episode of March 12th, where we went, cut Bitcoin's price in half and we fell quite a bit. So this has been the pattern that we've been in for about 3 weeks now. So we really want to get out of this. If we switch to this chart, you can see 66 is a very key level as well. So we've already tested the top of this descending channel once, and we failed to get above this here. So that's very important. You can see this is a very tough level to get above. But guys, now what we can see on the daily chart, we're actually above the 21 week as of right now. This is very good. This is a good indication. The 21 week is almost just going vertical down. So it was only a matter of time before we got above this, because I mean, it's just plummeting. Obviously with this happening, it's delayed, but it's coming straight down basically because of that massive move. But now it is likely at some point in the future that we're going to come back down and test this for support as we broke above it. So we found support here. We kind of have shot up here. Now, I wouldn't be surprised in the short term if we revisited this and try to find some support. And again, guys, that would be around the $6,000 level. So if we see another swing, okay, where we're currently at like 6,400, 6,350, if we see another move down to 6,000, that's not necessarily bad at all. We could just be getting another bounce there and retrying to get up to the $6,600 level to break above the descending triangle on the daily chart, or descending channel, sorry, on the daily chart. It's really important there. Same thing here, guys. If we saw another thing like this where we came back down, this is what it would look like on this chart. Not quite that low, about 6,000 here, and you got another bounce to maybe get up to that 66 or 67. That could be considered a good sign. Overall, though, I think this is the most important thing to take notice of. This, I mean, guys, there's just so much, in my opinion, support here. We've already plummeted massively here. Again, like I said in the last video, I don't think we're just going to massively dump another $3,000 in a day, guys. I just think that's insanely unlikely. If I'm wrong, then so be it. But $3,000 down to a $3,000 dump down to about $3,000 is just very drastic. And currently, I think this area is just so built up right now. We're still forming that structure, guys, ever since plummeting. And again, this goes back, this is like a longer term area right here. Not to mention, we have the 200 weekly, which has been playing support as well. We did get a bounce there. We saw 2 weekly candles hovering around there, and we've been going up since then. So again, what we could see, and I wouldn't be shocked if this happened, what we could see is something similar to the last time that we came to the 200 weekly moving average right here, where we come down, bounce up, and then come back down to that 200 weekly, everybody in full panic mode, and then what do? We just continue up and then break out. So that could happen as well. This, I mean, funny enough, this all happened with the Litecoin halving. Now this is exactly where the Bitcoin halving is as well. So I think that's very interesting. If something similar would happen, it'd be pretty similar in terms of actual fundamental events, because again, this was caused right around the Litecoin halving time, which I think played a huge part in the market rallying there. And as well, this is right here is like the Bitcoin halving when this is going to happen. So this would be about pitch perfect in the same amount of time there. If we, again, what I'm trying to say here is we could still come down to that $5,400, $5,500 area we've been talking about on this chart, okay, down to about here, this whole area here, especially this orange line, and that would still be fine over the next, I mean, that could happen over the next few days there. If that did happen, that wouldn't be a bad sign. It could just indicate a double bottom there and then a move up, because when we had a double bottom here, this did indicate a move up, and it coincided with the halving. Same thing, if we get a double bottom here, coinciding with the halving, we could see a similar move. I think that's a really bullish scenario. Obviously, we want to talk about bearish scenarios. What some people, and less people, I think, as time goes on, because it makes less and less sense, what they're thinking is potentially we could come back down here, and what we're forming right now is, as a bull flag, guys, I just don't see this happening, and another drop down to, let's draw it on here, about like this area here. Do you guys see how low that is? That would be, I mean, let's take a second to think about that. If that happened, then you guys know that would make a lower low on this chart, because we only came down to about, 31. If we broke 3,000 and went into the 2,000s, in the high 2,000s, that would break all of the structure going back to the end of 2017. All of it would be destroyed, and that would indicate, in my opinion, that would indicate a multi-year bear market if that happened. So with everything already happening with the broader economy and the fact that Bitcoin still held some structure and bounced back above the 200 pretty rapidly, that's a really good sign, honestly. I don't think that's a bad sign at all. Considering everything that's going on in the world and Bitcoin still maintained its structure, I think that's very important. Now will Bitcoin continue and be fundamentally important as we transition maybe with this current economy into what Bitcoin was built for, which is some sort of replacement or as a different use away from traditional fiat systems? That could be playing a part as well. Bitcoin has been diverging. It continues to diverge a little bit. So getting back to the question, if we have some upside, here's what we're going to do. Upside target 66, super important. This 72, incredibly important. 78, biggest still is that $8,000 level, guys. That $8,000 level, which as well is right where this 21-week moving average is. Actually, it's kind of curving down now at this point. It's actually at 78 right now. And again, if we can continue this for another week or two, this could easily, we could see some sort of move up to that $7,800, $8,000 level, and then come back and find some support here, and then continue upwards as well. So overall, all of these lagging moving averages are coming down because of this move, obviously. So it's going to put us, technically on these charts, especially the weekly, in a better place to actually move and break above some of these levels. So again, just key levels to watch, guys. I think this, by far on the daily chart, this descending channel is still the overarching resistance. And again, most importantly, in terms of a massive breakout, breaking this line here, which again, as of right now, as of today, it's right about $10,100, $10,150. Let's say it moves out to the beginning of May, okay, closer to the halving, it would be under $10,000. So by then it would actually be like $9,800. Okay, so that could be maybe a good time. Maybe we could rally into or shortly after the Bitcoin halving. So that's really important to notice there. And guys, as well, you already know my downside targets. Primarily, I think this level is really important, right about the 5,400. And as well, I think that's really important on the weekly as well, guys. The 200 moving average, we saw a really strong bounce there. and we saw a very big amount of volume there as well. You can see that here. So again, I think that's going to be crucial. Overall, I'm very satisfied with how Bitcoin is performing. Hitting all of these targets, these, again, they're validated. The more, we've had these drawn on here for months, and when we see a move up to here, and I come and I check this chart, and I see either resistance, and then it comes down, and I see support here, all that does is just validate these patterns more and more. And so when you're looking at patterns, if you see the patterns you draw being very strong resistance, and you see moves happening around those levels, then again, validates your pattern. Very good stuff. So guys, thanks so much. Make sure to comment. We'll be giving away this ledger in the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.